John Romine was a Boilermaker through and through. During his time at Riley Hospital for Children, John vowed to make a difference in the lives of children everywhere.
In 2008, John's battle with Hodgkin's lymphoma came to an end, but his legacy lives on.
Today we honor John for being a Boilermaker who is remembered for his faith, friendship, and selflessness.
John was here as a freshman, and he was a member of Farmhouse. He was still a pledge, and we discovered that he had Hodgkin's lymphoma, and he had to do all this cancer treatment, but he did it all at Riley. He said, "Riley's where I want to be. Plus, there's a lot of cute nurses there." Okay, and that's where he took all of his chemo and everything. And he did radiation here in West Lafayette. And his sophomore year, he was in, great year for him. He wanted to stay all he could, by the way, when he was doing chemo with his Farmhouse brothers, because those guys were his big support system. He had 2 sisters at home. He needed brothers, okay? So anyway, one of the things the guys did for him when his second semester of freshman year, I think it was the second time he had chemo, and of course, if you know anybody that's had chemo, they kind of have a little problem with their hair. And he lost all his hair, and he came into the chapter meeting that night, and Marla, who was a DG, said, "We need to do a fundraiser for John." And John said, "No, you need to do a fundraiser for Riley." And that was in 2005. And so what they did was the DGs organized some girls, and they shaved the guys' heads at Farmhouse.
The first hair auction took place in the Farmhouse basement. Everyone was having way too much fun, especially us girls who got to actually shave their heads. Ever true to character, John stood silent, strong, with the broom in his hand in the corner. He would smile and laugh occasionally at a joke, or when he realized what a goofy shaped head one of his brothers had without hair. The look of love on his face is one I will never forget.
Well, anyway, John's senior year, cancer came back. He had to have a stem cell transplant. He did his own cells first, and did a whole bunch of treatment and chemo, and of course came to spend time at Farmhouse anytime he could, and but it didn't take, and so then we were looking for a match.
Senior year, I will never forget getting the call from John. They found a bone marrow match. I couldn't have been more excited. So began the tough road ahead of getting him healthy enough to receive it. Unfortunately, that day never came. It took too long to find a match, but even after that realization had sunk in that he would never be healthy enough to receive the life-saving marrow, John had a mission. He spread awareness everywhere he went for people to become part of the registry. Just because something may not work out for him, just because he was stuck in a hospital bed, didn't mean he wouldn't keep fighting for others. I remember him speaking about how important it was, and his voice was cracking, and he just kept saying, "These kids, these little kids at Riley." He didn't need to say anymore, but we knew what he meant.
So what we were asked by him to do, 2 things, okay? Keep on raising money for Riley. For the kids, right? And keep on registering people.
When the final week of John's life had come, he knew. John wanted a chance to say goodbye, and so did we. Tons of us filled the halls and lobby of Riley. They had to organize us into visitation groups to be able to see him. The sheer outpouring of love for John was so evident that evening. John so badly wanted to graduate from Purdue. On December 4th, that wish was granted. He would be able to graduate from Purdue with an associate's degree in agricultural economics. The next day, John passed away. He is on my mind and in my heart always. He was my best friend. I confided to him my deepest and darkest secrets. He was so wise. He was so goofy too. I can still hear his laugh and see his beautiful blue eyes getting that little glint of mischief. We will always remember the legacy that John left behind. And just like John used to say,
"It only takes one."